This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
As if the snake stories weren't bad enough. I was recalling my rural childhood the other day and was reflecting on how full of bee stings it was. Like most country kids, we learned that honeybees were beneficial, and if we didn't bother them, they would not bother us. Also, like most country kids, we encountered members of the bad bee family, wasps, yellow jackets, hornets, and bumblebees, and were stung by many of them. Old barns, piles of wood, fallen tree trunks. There was no end to the perfect places for the flying menaces to nest, and exploring as we did, we often upset them. Some of the big hornet nests were easy to spot and avoid. Often in winter, when they were abandoned, we cut them down and kept them for science projects. What country kid hasn't taken a large hornet's nest or a honeycombed wasp nest to school for show and tell? Turns out the reason this is possible is that everyone dies off but the queen. They starve, actually, and new queens hibernate over the winter and start new nests each spring. Isn't that special? Yellow jackets burrow in the ground and are harder to spot. In fact, I would venture to call them evil, though I know my more scientific friends will roll their eyes at me. But anyone who has encountered a nest of yellow jackets unawares will agree with me, and folks often stumble upon them while working, clearing brush or cleaning up around the farm. That really adds insult to injury. And in the fight with yellow jackets, there is no defense. They are aggressive. Some say they are defending their nest. I say they are born to make war on humans. Bald-faced hornets are more aggressive than wasp or yellow jackets. They will often sting without much provocation and can sting repeatedly. Because of the danger inherent in disturbing bald-faced hornets, removal of their nest should be left to pest control professionals. No problem. I can recall waiting till dark to take down wasp nests. At dark, just like the chickens, they had all come home to roost, settling down to sleep for the night. Then we could safely soak them with hornet spray. As a really small child, I remember Grandpa's making a torch, tying rags to the end of a tobacco stick, soaking it in kerosene and lighting it, thus burning the little creatures to death. I don't know how he knew how long to leave it, just long enough to burn the nest, but not long enough to burn the barn. I realize now that wasps do not sleep. They are actually tending their young and doing maintenance at night. I realize a lot of things now that I'm older, like how special my country summers were, even with the stings. Welcome to Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in Oakley, Kansas on I-70 at exit 76. I-70, after all, is America's Main Street, and we're right here on Main Street for you. Now that I'm an Oakley resident, I still come in almost every day, and I sit and listen to the conversations of the people around me. You know, the guys who are talking about the big elk they just bagged, or the folks who are taking their kid to college for the first time. People just traveling up and down the highway. Real people, just like you and me. And they find just what I find here, real people to serve them. There's history, there's scenery. We hope you'll stop and see us soon. Welcome to Oakley.